an idea. Well, this is considered what is the points of reference. When they do an ID of a fingerprint, they use anywhere between, not usually 10, but some agencies will do 10, but usually it's 12 to 16 points of reference. And as I said, it actually varies from state to state depending on their policies. But and agencies have their own too. Well, this is the general area that you actually need to alter, eradicate, or destroy. And this is what I'm going to concentrate on this video here. Now, you have a few choices. You can do it surgically, chemically, temporarily, and this is what I'm going to try to discuss in maybe one video. It might even go two, I don't know yet. And I'm going to speak a little bit about my past experiences, the other people's past experiences, what has worked, and the most common fallacy out there is you can't do it. And that's good because I like that thinking, because the people think that, it makes it all easier for you and I. Wipe and you can start seeing some skin coming up. Now, the best way to get this started is actually to take your thumb and soak it in some hot water, or with some lanolin, or anything to get it up. Especially if you got calluses, you want to definitely soak the skin for at least 20 minutes, or well, you don't have to be that long, but everybody's different. Now, if you can look fairly close here, yeah, all right. On the video, you can see some of the skin here. Well, the point of this is to make the mill thickness of the total print much thinner. It's not to initially eradicate it completely, but this does help. I mean, if you keep your calluses on and keep your skin as normal, it's gonna go right through gloves. All right. Oh, and speaking of gloves, do not, and I repeat, do not use latex gloves. They bring the prints right through. And a lot of people have been caught because of that. Another thing is, if you're going to use gloves, whatever you're using it for, use vinyl gloves, medical vinyl gloves. Do not use latex. Again, I will repeat, your prints will come through. But this can also help with that case if you are using gloves, to also thin out your fingerprint. Likewise, in the thumb area, they actually tend to concentrate on a bigger area, so I tend to scrape all around the whole area, not just the center, as I was telling you in the regular fingers. And do that, and what it'll do is it'll start bleeding a little bit as you get thinner, thinner, thinner. And at that point, just wrap it up. It'll start healing on its own, and just continue to do this. Now, this is if you want to maintain a low profile of fingerprints. This is the way to do it, is to continually scrape all your fingers and tips, and after a while they will not come back. This is one method of others I'm going through here. Okay, there's people that I know in industries who are in the carpentry, sanders and all that, who do not have prints and have had trouble when they had to get their fingerprints done, and they were rather pissed off, but there's nothing they can do about it. Now, another thing, I don't say do this, but I do recommend it be done, is refuse your fingerprints to be taken to arrest. There's not much they can do to you, and the best thing to do is to follow my example here, and then go back and resubmit your fingerprints, so they will have a false profile of your original fingerprints. As I said, of your original fingerprints, they're not going to know they've been altered, because they're going to heal back, and they're not going to know exactly you. I'll get into what I'm meaning by that in a minute. Now, once again, if you're using acid or any other method that I'm going to be discussing, you can use a razor. This razor will work just fine too. The whole point of it is to make your job easier. You don't want to go in using acid or whatever method that I just start discussing here with a full-fledged, thick print. It's more pain, it's more shit you got to go through, and it's less likely to be accomplished. Now here you got to be a little careful, but as you start going, you'll start catching on and start rubbing away, rubbing away, rubbing away. You'll start getting red, lightly bleeding. It'll be sore, but big deal. You're a man or a woman, whatever you are. Just keep going. And eventually the whole area get nice and red, and you cover it up, and you continually doing it. Now you got to learn your own body, and how it heals. Because everybody's different. I can't say go this way, do this, because then it's not going to work for the next guy. You have to learn your own self, okay? Because this is not discussed very much, as you guys know. Once again, I want to discuss something with your lidocaine. Obviously, I haven't discussed this yet, But you, along with the razor and other methods, if it's too painful for you, it makes you squeamish, get the needle out. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up to like number 2 on the needle. If it's a thin diabetic one, it should be no more than 1 cc, okay? But as I said, only go up to number 1. Don't go up to 10. That's a lot, okay? 1, that's plenty. Or actually 2, 2.5 is fine, right? But what you're going to do is, you see that area where I have the black dots? All right, that's the center of the area. But what you want to do is, it's going to only hurt the first time, mind you, and it's not going to hurt that much. Is you're going to go in really slow, and you're going to go in about 2 to 3/16 of an inch. It's not very deep at all. And you're going to squirt 1 or 2 lines worth, and you're going to pull it out, and you're going to realize you can't feel. So what you do is you bring it around to the areas that you can't feel anymore, and keep going all around until you can't feel your whole finger. By that time, you would have not used that much lidocaine, xylocaine, or whatever else you've been using, and then you can start doing eradication work with actually no pain whatsoever, and it'll last several minutes. Now, don't go in and put it at the needle all the way in. It's just going to go right into your bloodstream, and it's just not going to be good. It's just actually not even going to work. All right, it's a surfactant area. Okay, we need to concentrate on it. And same thing with your thumb. Same idea. You got a bigger area though, but don't go in the edges, because where the nerves are, it's going to hurt like a bitch. So just stay around bigger areas, and then just like once or twice in the center with the syringe. As I said, go in slowly. You're only going to need to go up to 2 or 3 on the needle, and just a little bit at a time. But you're going to know by the numbness in your finger how you got to go about doing that and how much. Now, I also want to discuss a few things really fast, okay? There's other methods now. For temporary, you can use crazy glue, but do not use the shit that's for wood. It peels right off. The stuff that's for ceramic and glass, some people put it on every single day. Soldering irons work very well. Once again, with the assistance of lidocaine, it will not hurt all that well. Now, for other people who worry about appearances, and I'm not talking about your fingers, there's nothing you can do about that. If you're going to dye your damn hair, do your eyebrows. Thank you. And also try to get colored contacts. And when you're questioned, let's just say you're questioned, or hopefully not arrested for anything, and I don't encourage you guys to do anything to get arrested. They ask you, do you have partials? Say yes. Or any dental work, you say in the back, and don't offer to pull them out, or I can't pull them out. Don't say anything. Just say you have them on your back. Because let's say you are questioned later. They says, well, this guy, John Doe, has partials, and they're going to go look, and they're not going to find any. Tattoos? Say yes. It's a skull, your girlfriend's name, and they're going to want to see them, but you say, well, probably, the chances are they won't. Especially if you tell them they're on your ass cheek, or you have one on your groin area there, they're not going to want to see it. They'll take your word for it. And that'll also go in a file, and when they go to search John Doe, he doesn't have the tattoo, so hence you're not the John Doe they're looking for. Alright? Another thing is to lie where you're born. They're going to ask you, what state and town were you born in? Keep in mind a town and a state that you're familiar with as far as memory, and use that and stick to that. Never tell them ever where you were born, because they get your vital information. And then it never changes, because I've tried, and they know where you were born. But once you never tell them that. Now, another thing is, I'm not saying to do this, but it's helpful to have a bad memory when you're filling out paperwork for DMV and other related things, especially DMV. When you're filling out your driver's license paperwork, okay? For instance,